The Complete Dynamics Master Edition has been developed especially for what we call the more experienced and demanding homeopathic professionals. It contains many features that are not found in the regular Practitioner Edition. In this video I will show you all the features that are not in the Practitioner and can only be found in the Master Edition. You can also find this information in the Complete Dynamics Help in the section Master Edition. The book module normally shows the entire contents of the complete repertory, including all rubrics, all remedies and all their sources. In the Practitioner it is already possible to filter the book on a number of pre-selected criteria, like the Classic Edition, showing only the more traditional authors somewhere up to 1935, and a recently added filter, reliable authors, restricting the repertory to only those authors that were considered reliable by George Vitulkas. You can also select this, by the way, via the menu. In the Master Edition, it is now possible to create your own filters according to your own definitions. A filter is created via the Preferences. Preferences for the book module. Your own defined filters are here. We have none at the moment. I will add my filter by clicking on the plus button. I give it a sensible name, like Demo Filter, which of course is not a sensible name. But the first thing you can do in this part is select the authors that you would like to include in your filter. Press the button and a list will appear with all the existing authors in the repertory. These are the main authors. If you click this checkbox, then all the authors that appear in the repertory are shown. You can select multiple authors here, just like you would like, according to your own preferences, and click OK. The list will now appear here and can be changed afterwards again. I will now unclick them all because I'm not interested in filtering authors. You can also set a year range for the sources, the year of publication of the books, a start year and an end year. Another option is to add limitations to the remedies. Only remedies with a certain grade are to be used, or in combination a minimum and maximum size of the rubric. And you can restrict the rubric types. As an example, I will create a filter on the repertory with only time and remedies of grade 3. This filter has now been added to the menu and I can select it, and now I will get only time, rubrics and only remedies of grade 3 and higher. As a second example of creating your own filter, I'll quickly create a filter with only Kent as the author. I'll select Kent, give this a sensible name, and actually that's all there is to it. Kent is now in the list. Oh. And there we are. Kent only. The normal book layout of the repertory is pleasant to read, and you can easily see which remedies are in which rubric. But it's not so efficient for watching the structure of the repertory. Of course, you can hide all the remedies by pressing the spacebar, and show them again by pressing the spacebar once again. And we also have this R button at the top, which does the same. A feature that we have not written in the manual yet, but will tell you at this moment is if you quickly double-click the spacebar, then also the references which are normally visible will disappear. This gives you the best overview in the normal book layout of the structure of the repertory, but still you don't see how one rubric relates to other rubrics in the repertory. Of course, you can see here some of the cross-references to other rubrics, but there's more to see. A new feature is showing the repertory as a graph. When we do that, the entire view of the repertory will change. On this vertical line, you will see all the rubric levels going from mind through anger, evening, aggravation to trembling with after eating. Here, aggravation, on the left side amelioration, shows a polar relationship. And on the right side you see related rubrics which have some relationship with the rubric that is selected. So trembling with after eating also refers to evening aggravate or aggravation after eating, or mental symptoms with trembling, or generalities, trembling in evening. So what happens if the remedy you are looking for is not in this very specific rubric? Then you can quickly get an overview of related rubrics where you could also look. If I double click on this rubric, it will become the new current rubric. We go back to the text view. The Jump To rubric at the bottom of the screen is a very efficient way to jump to a rubric if you already know where that is located in the repertory. Next to that field we have a lookup button showing an index tree on the left side of all the rubrics that can be found in the repertory. Which also shows the remedies at the right side. This same index tree can, in the Master Edition, now be shown on the left side by clicking this index button. You can now easily walk through the repertory through a hierarchical structure, and when you click on an entry in the list, the repertory will immediately change the position. The other way around, if you click on one of the rubrics here, you will see that the index tree on the left side changes its selector as well. We now have a few very powerful options combined. An index, a tree index on the left side, a book view on the right side, and a jump to view at the bottom, the jump to field. Changes in one will immediately be reflected in the other. This is very powerful. You hide the index again by pressing the same button. Let's take another look at the rubric Mind, Anger, Evening Aggravates with Trembling After Eating. Now that is a very specific rubric. Sometimes a patient comes to you with a very specific description of his symptoms and you find exactly the same symptom with the same modalities, etc. in the repertory. But with a rubric like this, that's rarely the case. So probably the remedy that you're looking for is somewhere in the repertory, but not with exactly these modalities and these phenomena, locations, etc. Now if we look at this, we see only one remedy in the rubric. So maybe we should look at other, more generic rubrics as well to find the remedy that we're looking for. How do we do that? If you click on this light bulb, which in other modules is used for differential diagnosis, a new section will appear on the right side where a quick analysis is made of this rubric with trembling after eating, in combination with the related and more generic rubrics. And all of a sudden we have recommendations for remedies, or let's say suggestions for remedies, which might be suitable for this symptom but are not listed in the very specific rubric. And where do these remedies come from? To get a detailed overview of that, you can use this grid button, which quickly creates a table style analysis, and here we have all the rubrics that were used in creating this analysis to suggest other remedies. Of course, the remedy that we have here is the most popular because that was the only one in the very specific description. But the other ones are very interesting as well. If we look at cocculus, the second one, it's in most of the other rubrics, but not in a few very specific. This table analysis is created in your current case. It's a temporary analysis which will be deleted after the case module is closed. Let's go back to the book. Now this was a very specific rubric, but what happens on the right side of the screen if we select a rubric that has no more general rubrics? Let's take one from the food and drink section. Irritating food aggravates still has only one remedy on the right side. Alcoholic drinks aggravate shows us exactly all the same remedies as are in the rubric, but no additional suggestions. This is not what this module is meant for. It's meant to help you find suggestions for remedies in very specific rubrics. We'll now take a look at the new functions available in the Find module. A very convenient addition is the History button. If you click that, you will get a list of the last things that were looked for. Simply select one from the list and that Find will start all over again. In the Master Edition, it is possible to not only find in the repertory, but also find in the Materia Medica books. Click here and the find will be executed in the Materia Medica books. On the right side in the results you'll see all the remedies, followed by the author of the specific book. If you click on this sentence, the book is opened and the sentence where it is located is highlighted. Finding in the Materia Medica is always done on the basis of sentences. It would not make sense to find specific words in the full text of a single remedy if these words are not in any way related. So searching is done on a sentence basis. The definition of a sentence is a bit complex because there are no fixed rules on where a sentence starts and where it ends. It can be different per author, it can even be different per book, and it varies per language. But we've figured out a way to make it as efficient as possible. This one's easy. Bed feels too hard. That's a very short single sentence. A very powerful new feature in the Find module is the option to look not for individual remedies, but for remedies that are part of a certain kingdom and family group. If I look on this lookup button at the right side of the remedies, I can select a single remedy, but I can also press the Groups button. For instance, when I'm interested in looking for the fears in the spiders, I can select spiders here, select this group. I immediately get an overview of the remedies that are in that group, and I add the word fear, and now I find all rubrics fear and all spider remedies. Notice that the spider is drawn within curly brackets. If you know the group, if you know the name of the kingdom, then you can simply type there. Like if If I type snake, I'll get the fears of the snakes. You can also combine, like you could normally combine remedies. So I can look for the fears in snakes or spiders. One of the first things you notice in the Find module of the Master Edition is that there are many more fields to use in specifying your query. An important one here is maximum rank. Let's first see what rank is. I'll go to the book module. In this rubric, you'll see that normally the remedies are sorted alphabetically. We can change the sorting order for the remedies into sort on importance. Then the remedies appear in the order in which they are considered in making the analysis. It can be very interesting to look for remedies that are within the most important of a rubric. Let's do that in the Find module. If I say I look for remedy Ignatia and the maximum rank is 5, then the rubrics found will all have Ignatia in the first 5 important remedies. So let's take a look at this one. There we have Ignatia. Now change the sorting order and we see that Ignatia is, well, in this case the 5th place, but it's within the first 5. I can also say that the rank is a percentage, so I can say that Ignatia should always be within the first 10%. So the larger the rubric is, the more remedies are considered, and the smaller the rubric is, the less remedies are considered. In some situations you would like the remedy you're looking for to be the best scoring. In other situations you might say, well, as long as it's within the first 10%, that's fine with me. In the Master Edition, you can search for words using words synonyms. If I look for the word spasms, I will find only rubrics that contain the word spasms, or to be more precise, words that start with spasms. I now find 1670 rubrics. So all these rubrics have the word spasms in them. When I use word synonyms, I will also find other rubrics like convulsions or cramps. Complete Dynamics comes with a predefined word synonym list for the English language. It is also possible to create your own synonym definitions. How that is done is explained best in the manual, in the help pages. It is also possible to share the synonym definitions that you have made with other users. A very nice feature is the possibility to highlight the terms that are used for searched for in the Find results. Select this veld marker and the words that are looked for are highlighted in the results. Here we looked for spasms, so the other words that were found, like convulsions and cramps, are also highlighted. The same highlighting can be applied in the book module. You see that the search term cramps is highlighted here. Also, when you look for remedies, the remedies looked for are highlighted in the repertory. Let's repeat the search of fears for snakes or spiders. Go to the repertory and we'll see that the words fear are highlighted, but also the spider remedies are highlighted. This gives you very quick information on where everything is located. The highlighting is also applied to find results when looking in the Materia Medica. A new checkbox has been added to the case module, Recent. If you check this option, then only cases will be shown that are recently modified. Especially if you have many patients, this significantly helps you to find the right case. This example is not very good because the PC I'm currently working on is not used in daily practice. The number of days for considering a case to be recent can be configured in the preferences. When editing the patient information, the most important fields are already present. For most practitioners, this will be enough. But you have your own way of working and you probably want to store more data than just possible here. You can add your own fields by clicking this plus button. For instance, an insurance number, now the insurance number is added to the data. Maybe I want to add another field. Family doctor, Grand Hill Senior, okay, which is also added here. Now each time you create a new case, those fields are part of the case of the patient information form. The analysis module has been extended with a powerful remedy filtering mechanism. The most common example of that is what we call elimination. Imagine the rubric mind sensitive, like indicated here. You would like to restrict the results of your analysis to only remedies that occur in this rubric. That can be done with analysis filter set to remedies in rubric. Now the analysis is limited to only remedies that occur in that rubric. There are more options. The most simple one is show all remedies, which clears the filter. There's the option we just had, set to remedies in rubric. But now what if I change my mind and think, well, the remedy is listed here, I don't think my remedy is in there. Actually, I would like it to be okay as well if it occurs in mind noise version 2, which contains 20 remedies. Now we only see 15 remedies. I would like to also see the remedies that are in mind noise version 2. That can be done with extend with remedies in rubric. Now we have more remedies. The current selective filter now contains remedies from either this rubric or that rubric. There's another way of doing that. Now I clear the filter. I select both rubrics and now say analysis filter set to combination of rubrics, which gives me the same result as a few seconds ago. You can also do set to crossing of rubrics. Then the result is restricted to remedies that do occur in both rubrics, which in this case is not a practical example. Another way to do that is first set the filter to the remedies in one rubric, then select another rubric and say restrict to remedies in rubric. The current filter is then limited to remedies that also occur in mind noise version 2, which leads to the same result. This might look complex. Actually, it's not that complex. The most ones you will use is, well, I need the remedy to be in any of those 3 rubrics, or I need the remedy to be in all three of these rubrics, or otherwise you start with one rubric and then add more rubrics, like, oh, I changed my mind, that one's okay too, or restrict it with other rubrics. Oh, it should be in the other rubric as well. The most commonly used is set to remedies, set the filter to remedies in rubric, the elimination method. I suggest you play with it a little bit and you'll soon discover out, you'll soon figure out how it works. Please note that there are also interesting keyboard shortcuts, so this is very efficient to use. When you look at the results of your analysis, you will see that all remedies are drawn in 4 different grades: 1, 2, 3, and 4. When the analysis is calculated, the actual values used for each of the remedies in the rubrics can be different depending on quite a number of factors. The formulas for calculating the analysis are complex and don't use simply the grades 1, 2, 3, 4. In the analysis results, you don't see that difference. But it can be interesting to see the difference. For that, we have created a button on the right-hand side of your window, which will show you what we call relative importance. Let me just click the button and see for yourself. Now the grades 1, 2, 3, 4 for each remedy are replaced by a colored dot on a gliding scale. This white one here almost has no value. The darker blue ones have higher values. What you see here is the actual weight, the importance that the remedy gets when calculating it into the analysis result. Let's go back to the first one. You see here 4 remedies with grade 4. I'll switch again. Look at the blue buttons. Now you see that this one is much darker than this one. You'll also notice that the rubric only has 1 remedy, and for the lighter bullet it is a much larger rubric, 432. Because of the difference in size of the rubric, Coffea is counted with less value for the large rubric than for the small rubric. But there are many other factors that are used when calculating the analysis result. What you also see here at the bottom is that these originally also 4 grade 4 remedy entries are quite prominent in the analysis compared to the other grade 4 remedies. So apparently for Coffea, the sleeplessness is an important symptom, which of course we all know is true. Another thing you might notice, a remedy grade 3 and a remedy grade 4. Now look again and see what happens. The 2 bullets now get almost the same color. This implies that although the original value original remedy grading is 3 or 4, actually the weight given in the analysis is almost the same. We can use the same mechanism when not looking at the table view, but at the grid view, where remedies are drawn in larger and different color bullets. If you now change to showing the relative importance, then everything is drawn as a black bullet, but the larger the bullet is, the more weight is given to it, the more importance it has in calculation of the analysis. This new feature, showing relative importance, can be very important when you create your own analysis formulas, which is described in detail in the manual. An important new function in the Master Edition is the possibility to create your own analysis formulas. Creating your own formulas is done in the Preferences under Analysis. Here you will see a list of the 5 standard analyses that are built into Complete Dynamics. I will now create a new formula just as an example. When you create a new formula, it's always based on one of the already existing formulas. In this case, I'll start off with the standard formula, press the plus button, and my new formula will be created. At the right hand side, there's a list of settings, and you can give it a name. I'll give it just a name, Edward Example. The settings on the right hand side are all described in the help text. It's not the purpose of this instruction video to explain all the details of what I mean. We kindly revert you to the help text. If you have any further detailed questions, you can always send me an email. I'll just change a few settings just to show you what happens. And I'll also move this example to the second position. Now let's see what happened. You see that Edward Example has been added to the analysis results, and because I slightly changed some of the settings, you'll also see that the analysis result is slightly different from the analysis formula I based it on. You can again remove your own formula simply by clicking it and pressing the minus button. It's gone. Creating your own analysis formulas is really a topic for the master homeopath. It's very simple to create an analysis formula which results in useless lists of remedies. This is something that you should use wisely, know what you're doing, and if you use it wisely and know what you're doing, it can be very powerful. When we look at the reverse Materia Medica of, for instance, chamomile, we see rubrics that contain the remedy chamomile, but it would be interesting to see how it relates to other remedies. For this, we can create an analysis of all rubrics shown in the Materia Medica and quickly see how for each rubric other remedies occur in this analysis. This temporary analysis is generated in your case module and in the current case, and will be deleted when you close the case. If you show less or more rubrics, the overview will also contain more or less rubrics. Show another example, arnica. The Master Edition allows you to create your own Materia Medica books. You do this with menu option Create New Materia Medica Book. Your book will be stored in a file in the file folder Complete Dynamics under the My Documents folder. You give it a sensible name, I'll just call it Demo. If later you want to share your Materia Medica with other users, you can simply send them this file and they can include it in the same folder and use your Materia Medica. I need to enter a little information about the file. Important is the name of the author, which in this case is me. I have to enter the title of the book. And I need to enter a short name, which is the name that will be shown in the Materia Medica when finding in the Materia Medica. Now the new Materia Medica is added to the list. I want to edit Arnica. I right click and choose Edit Materia Medica. I can now type, well, basically anything I want. Arnica is a great remedy for bruises. That's it. I click Apply and my Materia Medica for Arnica montana is now created. I can change it later. During formatting, I can also create paragraphs which are started with 4 hashes. I can give that a label. Intro, duck, action. You see that now I have 2 sections, one the introduction and one the generalities. I can format the text with bold, italic and underlines. Well, what else is there to say? Go ahead, build your Materia Medica. Especially if you have created multiple Materia Medica books or have shared Materia Medica books you have received from others, it might be interesting to see which files there are and which books are contained in those files. You can get an overview of the installed Materia Medica with menu option MM, information about Materia Medica books. This shows you a list with all the files. Complete Dynamics is the standard Materia Medica, listing all the authors, titles of the books and the language in which they are written. And here at the bottom you see the name I chose for my personal Materia Medica demonstration, name of the author and name of the book and the language. Well, this is the end of my short demonstration of the new features in the Master Edition. I hope you will enjoy using the Master Edition as much as we did developing it. If you have any questions, consult the help pages built in with F1 or go to our website. You can always ask us questions by sending us a message.